Number 10. Bryan Caraway is the longtime boyfriend of Miesha Tate. He has always received heat from the fans for dating Miesha Tate, as well as getting himself involved in a rivalry with Ronda Rousey and a training camp whilst on The Ultimate Fighter. When Bryan Caraway defeated Johnny Bedford at UFC 159, he received the submission of the night bonus after Pat Healy had the bonus money removed from him due to testing positive for marijuana. He was blasted by both fans and fighters for accepting the bonus. Number 9. Charles Sonnen is one of the best trash talkers in MMA history. When he fought Anderson Silva, he insulted his family and his country, Brazil, leading up to his fights, which made him become public enemy number 1 in the country. Leading up to UFC 148, made a remark about Anderson Silva's wife. When Anderson Silva heard this, he was furious. During the weigh-in, Anderson Silva hit his shoulder in Chael's face, creating more buzz for the fight. Number 8. When CM Punk announced that he would be fighting in the UFC, many hardcore MMA fans didn't like the fact that he was a professional wrestler with no experience and was more recognizable than the majority of the fighters on the roster. Some of the UFC fighters weren't very happy of his signing, with the reason of him having no fight experience, as well as him being worth more than majority of the fighters on the roster. Number 7. Jason Miller was one of the most entertaining characters to be involved in MMA. He fought all over the world and was the host of MTV's Bully Beatdown. A sudden change in his personality has had him arrested numerous times. He was arrested naked inside a church after trashing the place. These incidences have damaged his image and may not be the same ever again. Number 6. Josh Koscheck was one of the biggest villains to ever compete in the UFC. He was an expert at talking trash to his opponents. He insulted Canada in his post-fight interview whilst fighting there, and when he fought Paul Daly at UFC 113, he talked so much trash to him during the fight that Paul Daly ended up punching him after the fight, which resulted in Paul Daly's release. He always made an extra effort to make sure that the fans tuned in for his fights, whether to see him win or lose. Number 5. Michael Bisping is seen as one of the bad guys in the UFC. When he faced Jorge Rivera at UFC 127, both fighters talked trash to each other and things got very personal very quickly. In the fight, Michael Bisping landed an illegal knee and was deducted 1 point. He eventually finished him by TKO in the 3rd round. After the fight, Michael Bisping spat in Jorge Rivera's corner, and later he faced disciplinary actions and was fined. Number 4. Ronda Rousey has been known to disrespect her opponents before fighting them. When Ronda Rousey defeated Miesha Tate by an armbar in the 3rd round at UFC 168, after the fight, she refused to shake her hand. Other disrespectful moments include claiming that she would beat all the women in the bantamweight division with only one hand, and refusing to touch gloves with Holly Holm, which didn't go very well for her. Number 3. Husima Palhares is always making the MMA news headlines for the wrong reasons. Whilst in the UFC, he was known to hold on to submissions far too long, which resulted in his release from the promotion. He joined World Series of Fighting and quickly won the title. He faced Jake Shields at WSOF 22, where he submitted him via a Kimura lock in the 3rd round and had held on to the submission again. He faced a penalty from the Nevada State Athletic Commission for holding on to the submission and was suspended indefinitely. Number 2. When Jon Jones became the UFC light heavyweight champion, he tried his best to portray himself as an ordinary human being, but his crazy lifestyle didn't match his good boy image. He used to party a lot and had problems with alcohol. This led him crashing his Bentley into a tree, testing positive for cocaine and injuring a pregnant woman in a hit-and-run accident. He lost his majority sponsorships, as well as being stripped of his UFC light heavyweight title, and was suspended indefinitely. Number 1. War Machine, aka John Copenhaver, is the only person on this list who is serving a life sentence in a maximum security prison. He had a very strange personality and has been arrested for assault charges on 3 separate occasions. In 2014, he was involved in a dispute with his girlfriend, Christy Mack, and violently assaulted her, leaving her with broken bones, missing teeth, and a ruptured liver. He now faces life in prison.